Hey guys! Today, I'm gonna be talking about my programming language that I made and how I made it. I've attempted to make one a couple times and I've always gotten stuck, but now it's finally worked. Introducing Zwiscript. So without further ado, let's start the video. Because this is a complicated project, I decided to go with a very simple design for this language. The way it works is you have these individual expressions, and you connect them together with this arrow thing, and that forms a single line that goes through each expression, using the previous one as input. First, it just sees a string with no input before it, so it passes to the next expression. In this case, the next expression is just a single identifier. If this was a variable name, then it would store the string in that variable, but this is actually the name of a built-in function that runs Python code. The function evaluates 1 plus 2.5 and gets 3.5. 3.5 is passed to the next expression, which is a variable name, so 3.5 is stored in the variable a. It's kind of like chaining functions together in other languages. This is extremely tedious to write, trust me, but that's the basic principle, so let me go over all of the features. All the types in this language are strings, numbers, functions, and booleans. The strings, numbers, and booleans all work as you'd expect. And this is what functions look like. All the other features you'd expect, like if statements and loops, are all implemented as built-in functions. The if function takes in a condition and a function. It will call the function if the condition is true. The loop function takes a function as input. It will run the function over and over as long as it returns true. The import function just takes a string and inserts the code from that file path. The return function just works like return in any other language. The py function exists because I made this in Python. I know this is probably really slow, but it's not meant to be professional anyway. Also, C++ scares me. Anyway, having this py function is really powerful because I can write most of the other built-in functions in the language. But, ChatGPT told me this was dangerous. IDE. Oh yeah, comments look like this. I decided to make an interpreted language because they're way easier. That means you have to have an interpreter program to run your code. When you run some code, a part called the lexer goes through your code character by character and splits it into tokens. Tokens are things like identifiers, semicolons, numbers, and other stuff. Then, it sends the tokens to a thing called a parser. In my language, the parser just goes through the tokens, figures out what they're saying, and does it. That's basically how the language works. So, I was trying to write some code, and I didn't have any syntax highlighting. So I tried to make a VS Code extension, but it was way too confusing. So, I made the obvious choice. I made a code editor for Zwiscript that runs in the console. It has syntax highlighting, but it's still a living hell to use. Luckily, the editor and the interpreter are both in Python, so I could just use the lexer to get the tokens and highlight them. I use those ANSI codes to change the console colors. In this editor, you can append lines, delete lines, replace lines, save files, and load files. Also, you can run your programs. To show off this language and text editor, I'm going to attempt to make a project in Zwiscript using ZS Code. I'm making a simple ball bounce thing in the console. So, let's start the time lapse. This was way harder than expected. You know, when you're coding in Python or something, you get descriptive errors and only have to worry about your own code. But with this, I have to decipher poorly made error messages, and worry about if it's the code or the language that's wrong. Moral of the story, just use a language that someone else made, unless you're not dumb like me.